Hi, everybody. I hope your day is going great. Welcome back this year. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today, but I want to do a quick screencast on professional learning communities and school year 2017-18. And so in this, I'm going to talk about what are PLCs and how will they impact me this school year. Okay, so there's variations on a theme. So we have the Darwin theme, we have the Pontius Pilate theme, the Billy Madison theme, and the miscongeniality theme. So first is we believe that all students can learn, but the extent of their learning is determined by their innate ability or aptitude. It is our job to create programs or tracks that address their abilities, their different abilities as students. The next one is next theme option is we believe that all students can learn if they elect to put forth the necessary effort. It is our job to provide students with an opportunity to learn. And the next one, we believe that all students can learn and will demonstrate growth in an environment that is warm and inviting. It is our job to encourage students to learn as much as possible. Or we believe that all students can learn at a relatively high levels or at relatively can and learn at relatively high levels. It is our job to create an environment that results in these high levels of performance. So those are four different themes or approaches to your philosophy on learning and what can happen with your students. So think about schooling and which type of school did you attend out of those four? What did the teachers uh, talk about? Um, how did their teaching impact you? Which of those four areas seem to reflect their philosophy of learning? In which school do you currently work? So iForward, which model do we fit into right now? In which school would you like to work out of those four? And which school do you want your kids to attend? So what I'd like you to do is pause the recording and maybe have a short little discussion um, about each of these questions as a group. This could be done in some um, smaller groups, or it could be done as a whole group discussion. So I'll leave that up to Billy and his facilitation at this point. So please go ahead and pause the recording. Okay, welcome back. So hopefully you had a great discussion there on these four themes and where you would like to see iForward schools be on this variation of themes and learning. So some essential questions about the culture of our school. Do we believe all kids can learn? Do we believe that educators are key contributors to student learning? Do we believe education is critical to the future of our students? And do we believe we can make a difference in the lives of our kids? So please just take another 5 minutes or so and as a group, have a short little discussion on these four questions as your guides. You do not have to go one question at a time, but just kind of think, reflect, and have a quick discussion. So again, please pause the recording and then come back when you're done. All right, welcome back. So hopefully you had a good discussion there on those four questions and what we believe as a school. So that brings me to a PLC, Professional Learning Community. So what is it? It's an ongoing process in which educators work collaboratively in recurring cycles of collective inquiry and action research to achieve better results for the students they serve. So it's all about growth. So here are the four PLC questions. We have, what do we want students to learn? How will we know if they have learned it? What will we do if they didn't learn it? And what will we do if they already know it or they did learn it? So here they are again, and I just want to look at each of the four questions. So what do we want students to learn? That is really about standards and essential learning questions or essential learning statements. So one of the two, either a standard, which could be a statement, or a question. So that's the first question. What is our target, our essential learning target? That might be a better way to say it instead of questions. How will we know they have learned it? So how are we going to assess them? So question number 2 here is really all about assessment, whether it be formative assessment, summative assessment, how we know they have learned it. And then based on those assessments, what will we do if they haven't learned it? So how are we going to differentiate and how are we going to intervene? So this is all about differentiation intervention. I'd say really number 3 here is really more about intervention at this point. And number 4, what will we do if they have learned it? This is where the differentiation and enrichment really comes into play. So again, just to reflect on these 4 questions, the first one is about standards and essential learning targets. The second one is about assessment, specifically formative and summative. The third and fourth are related to number 2 in the fact that it's a cause and effect type of relationship. So based on the assessments, what will we do if they haven't learned it? That's intervention. And what will we do if they have learned it? That's differentiation. So there's 3 types of PLCs. You have lateral PLCs, and these focus on standards and essential learnings for students as they pertain to specific grade levels, indoor courses. Usually lateral PLCs are held at grade level with grade level personnel or department level personnel. You have vertical PLCs, and these PLCs focus on alignment of content from one grade level to another or one course to another. Then you have choice PLCs, and these PLCs focus on an area of interest the teacher has in regards to the 4 questions of a PLC, because the 4 questions of a PLC are all about student learning. How will PLCs impact me this year? That might be a question you're thinking about. Well, during the 2017-18 school year, we will first focus on lateral PLCs, which will be the ones that are looking at standards or essential learning targets. And our second focus then will be on choice PLCs. And I just want to preface this with this is our current plan that we're going with. And like any good educator, we're going to modify and adjust as we determine the pulse of our direction. So our first goal is to develop 4 to 8 essential learning targets or essential learning questions for each course that you teach. The PLCs will meet in departments to start with and possibly meet in subgroups of departments based on teachers who teach the same course, so they can work together on these essential learning targets and have some great discussions. If teachers do not have anyone else who teaches the same course, they will share their essential learning targets or questions with their department colleagues for feedback during different meetings. And I'll talk about what those meeting structures are going to be like. So our meeting frequencies are going to be 3 to 4 times per month. We're going to have one of these meetings be face-to-face online, not face-to-face travel to a location, but face-to-face online in Jigsaw. And they can follow one of our 2 monthly faculty meetings. The other meetings can occur in the Teacher to Do course via a discussion board, and I'll show you where that is a little bit later, where teachers can post some of their essential learning questions and their colleagues would then provide feedback. These questions should align with the modules available in the courses if at all possible. So we're guessing here that your essential learning targets or questions would align with the modules in a course. So the key themes. Before we get to our essential learning targets, we're going to do a little study and a little discussion as in our small groups in our departments, or our PLCs, I should say. And we're going to spend 1 week on differentiated instruction and 1 week on response to intervention, and just kind of get everybody up to speed on what those 2 intervention or classroom practices really are all about. So just a chance for us to really get everybody to the same page on what these are. Okay, so who's in my PLC? I already said it. Your PLC will be your department as you focus on question 1 of a PLC. What do we want students to learn? So there you're focusing on your standards or your essential learning targets. So just a quick review there for you. And here I have a list of courses, and we're going to need you to fill this in. And so I'm going to send you this presentation. I'd like you to click on this link and fill in the courses that you know you're teaching already for quarter 1. All right, semester 2, who's in my PLC? So, this is our tentative plan again. So I just want you to know that things can change, and we'll, get feedback along the way from you. Semester 2, your PLC may be your department, or it may be others that have an interest in a certain type or tool for formative assessment. So again, we're moving from question 1 of a PLC that focuses on standards or essential learning targets to question two and specifically formative assessment. So the